Hey, what's up, guys? Man, I have one question for you today. Do you believe in change? Do you think change is actually possible? Do you think the world can change for the better? Do you think your situation can turn around? I know a lot of y'all probably skeptical, like, oh, God, I don't know if it can or not, but I'm going to do my best. Well, we got to do better than that. That's what we're going to talk about today, change. Hey, this is the Red Tape Podcast. Stay tuned. Man, so I just asked that question, do you believe in change? A lot of times in life, we do all the things that we can do within our control to put ourselves in a situation to be in a place where we can have change. A lot of people, change is important because, it gives hope. The hope of we can do something better. The hope of that we can reach something greater. The hope of we can get out of the situation we were in because that's what we want. Can they change? Can the world change? I know a lot of people say, hey, the zebra stripes are the zebra stripes. It's not going to change no matter how long you look at it. They are who they are. And I agree with that for the most part. But I do believe there is change that can occur. I was reading a story yesterday about this neo-Nazi who started the socialist movement. I can't remember his name right now. But anyway, it was a story of this black guy who happened to be a preacher. And he's been talking to this guy about helping him be better, to get rid of that hate and everything like that. And they started working together. And the guy wanted not to create a hate group necessarily, but he wanted a group just like the NAACP, but one that protected white folks. He wanted one that protected white folks. And he did. He was a part of the Charlottesville situation and everything that occurred there. And, he was part of putting the movement together, and his organization started failing after that situation with a young lady. 35 people got ran over, but one got killed. The young lady in Charlottesville, I'm sure everybody remembers that. If you could understand what was going on, you remember that situation. So this black guy's been working with him. This guy last name Stern, been working with this guy to try to take over the organization, try to rebrand it, because he wants them to have a right to have the same organization that protect white people, like you have the NAACP that stands up for the rights of black people. So he said that's all he wanted. He didn't want to be, the guy said he didn't want to be left behind. Now, I beg to differ on the way he got there, but I see where he's at in the moment. See, one thing about change, when you see change, when things are catastrophic in your life and things cave in your situation of change, one thing about change, you have to be malleable because it requires us to adjust ourselves. Change is coming. Are you going to be willing to adjust to the change? I think that's the greatest thing about America. In every situation, we have done well at adjusting change for the most part. And it hasn't been easy. It's caused wars. It's caused a lot of death. It's caused lynching. It's caused a lot of things, but change is coming. In change coming, there have been a lot of horrific events that have happened over the point of change. And some people are so afraid of change because they know that in change, a lot of times war comes. See, for change to occur, for me, the good change that I'm looking for is the one that considers love in every area, that considers respect in every area. And that's how we can still have war, but it can be debatable. It don't have to be in the physical form where we're putting people to death. But we're doing things that are unnecessary, that are bad for life. Now, if we got some bad apples or bad actors, then we're going to do what we have to do, right? Because evil cannot exist in this world. Evil and good will not coexist ever, right? So that's why you see the conflicts within yourself. That's why you see the conflicts within your households, your communities, because evil and good cannot coexist. It's going to be one or the other. And guess what's going to win out all the time? It's good. So we eradicate it. We cut off the snake's head because we want to see good in the world. We want to see people prosper. We want to see people to live a better life, to be more, to have a good point and taste what freedom is, to be liberated from persecution. That's why change is necessary. That's why you got to believe in change. See, we see people, you see all these different things like Adolf Hitler in this situation and what he did. He changed the world with his diabolical thinking, with his maniacal way of doing things, persecuting people. Well, we knew what we was going to have to do. We're going to have to go to war in order for this new change to happen. So he committed his acts of terror against people, against the Jews. And guess what? Everybody else eventually had to step in and say that this is not right. This is not the way the world should work. Evil cannot exist in this world because we see what pure evil can do to a world. It can put it at war. And you can see what good can do to a world. We're going to go to war for the sake of stomping out evil. So it is necessary to believe in change because change normally comes for the better. Now, we do have situations where people change for the worse, but we deal with them accordingly. But we have to continue to change and develop for the good because we have to believe in that change. It's one reason why I'm so big on the church and adjusting to the change, not our principles and what we believe. We don't change those, but the people in the church, the way we go about doing things, the way we go about attacking different situations have to change. You know, you have a world now where there are more intellectuals in the world that I see. That people are smarter and everything's at their fingertips. You know, you have everything you need to know at your fingertips. In 2 seconds or less, you can get to what you need when you need it and have it right away. So in that kind of climate where people call it a microwave society, you know, change is different. Change now is at a rapid pace. So we see. So we think it is anyway. So in that, we have to be able to believe and we have to be able to deal with these kids, deal with people on the level that they are in. What level of change are you in? Are you at the very beginnings of a developmental stage, or are you almost completely developed? Well, if you're not in church, if you're not learning in that way, you're not completely developed. You got a lot to learn. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to just talk about simple change, just to put this on your mind to understand that the importance of it. What are you doing to change the situation? What are you doing to help in the change? Do you believe in change? If you do believe in change, then hopefully believing in change to me is showing me that you're willing to change. You have actions in place to be better. I talked about self-development in my last episode. What are you doing in that development to help you change? So then that neighborhood can change, and then so on and so forth. As I always say, I always speak on the community because I believe in change. I believe things can be better. Now, if we go back into our lush and plush homes and the way we live, and we don't get out there and actively seek those communities out there may be struggling with change and don't have a road, a vision to help them with change, or they have people with the vision to help change the community because they know the community, but they don't have the resources for that community, then you have to be willing to help with the change. Now, that's one thing that's key about change. You do have to have resources. You do need resources, people, in order to have change. You can't just go in there and talk about change like I'm doing without resources. So things we got to have, the resources, we got to have the opportunity that's going to help push the change forward, right? So you got to have education, you got to have community centers, you got to have these things that bring the community together to take away the trouble, to take away the stereotype, well, not stereotype, to take away the refusal to learn, or thinking learning is for nerds, or thinking learning is not cool. We got to do these things because that's part of change. In change, where we have, we getting more, we said we're going to develop autonomous vehicles soon. We're going to have more robotic systems in manufacturing plants. So people have to adjust to that change, but without learning, you can't do the change. So without the proper tools to implement change or to be a part of the change, you can easily be left out if you haven't learned or you refuse to learn to keep up with the times. Now, I know some people say we don't want to keep up with the times. We want to stay where we are. Well, that doesn't work because there's always a development to be better. We're always trying to evolve into something greater than what we were yesterday. That's why some people look at you and see where you were 10 years ago and think you're different now. It's not that I'm different. My thinking has changed. So I just move a little differently, right? That's what people say, man, you changed a lot. No, I'm just trying to elevate myself so I can be better. I'm still the same old, gonna have fun when it's necessary, but I have to manage my time better because I have a future ahead of me and I have a legacy I want to leave behind because I want these things in life. So I have to move differently. I can't just do those same old things that don't help in my development, because I believe in change. And that's what I hope you guys all believe in change. So in believing in change, you start businesses. In believing in change, you get a second job. In believing in change, you go back to school. If you have a master's, get your PhD. If you have a bachelor's, you get your master's. If you have a associate's, you get your bachelor's. You know, you have to just keep going. If you don't want to go any of that, you get a trade. If you don't like that, go get some certs. You know, learn computer programming, whatever you need to do, but you got to develop yourself. That's why I think the beautiful thing about social media is it helps in the development of change a lot of times for people who have skills but didn't have a way of getting it out there or the means to get out there. Now you can put out a video and it go viral. Now you can say your opinion and people may listen to you. I think that's the great thing about social media if we use it in the right way to help in the development of our country, to help in the development of our world and your community, right? Community for me is the world. All right, so I had to keep saying in the community, in the neighborhood, in your family, blah, 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 right? Community is the world for me. Now, our communities may look different, and they definitely look different, but it's all about what we're going to do to help in the development and help in the change to make it a better place for the next generation that come through. That's why it's essential to vote. That's why it's essential to understand laws. It's essential to understand how everything works in this world the best you can. And you have experts for it. If you don't want to know, you can learn from somebody else. But you have to believe in change. Change is necessary. And without change, we don't have Martin. If Martin Luther King didn't believe in change, then what is it? If he didn't have hope first, you know, if he didn't have the hope and the belief in change, then change for him wouldn't have happened. He wouldn't have went as far as he did if he didn't believe that people are good enough to want to change. I believe people are inherently good. Well, they want to do good. Let me say that. I believe the general population of people believe in doing good. They want to do good. They want to be great. They believe in change. They want to be better each day. And you got a few bad apples that don't care. They want to ruin the world. They want to see it erupt in chaos. But that's okay. We deal with them, you know, like we just deal with that one terrorist. We handle them accordingly, right? And that's just what we do. But for the most part, we got to believe in change. We got to think about the change that we want, and we got to implement the change with a plan, and then we move into the change. You got it? All right. I think that was all right, guys, you know. Hey, I'm going to tell you this, man. Remember this right here. Hey, the Red Tape Podcast. Hey, the Red Tape Podcast. Hey, the Red Tape Podcast, make sure y'all check us out, guys. It's important, man, because we want to keep booming, man. If you like it, 5-star ratings only, that's all we can accept, all right? Anything else, I just erase it. No, I'm kidding. I can't do anything with it. It is what it is. It's a free world. You can rate it, say, this guy's terrible, this guy's okay, he could get better. That's what we're going to do, because I believe in change, man. That's why I'm here every day, because I believe in change. I have faith in people, even though I know we can be terrible. A lot of times, most of the times, I still believe in it. Like Kanye West saying in the new album, we got everything we need, guys. You just got to be able to recognize it and see it. You have everything you need. All right. Hey, this is Red Tape Podcast, guys. As always, I'm your host, Demerious Nelson. This is brought to you by For the One Media, where we move progressively forward in a conservative way. Y'all make sure y'all check us out, man. Y'all have a great day. Peace.